And yes, as you're talking about the resurrection of Jesus, we found that there is also need for some things to resurrect, as well as to allow some things to die, just as Jesus has died on the cross. So you're welcome to this learning where we talk about issues of life that concerns parenting in this dispensation. And today we are talking about the hidden past destroying parenting. Hmm? What every family must heal before it spreads. So, why is it a concern? We've seen how the past crops up and raises its head to destroy the future in individual lives. And we've seen it happen in parenting families. And it's an important issue that needs to be discussed to help families have clarity of the battle, what they are fighting for, or things that need attention that we naturally don't take chance of. So, and our topic says the hidden past. So sometimes this past is not even obvious. They are there, but we don't know they exist. So I was having a discussion with someone a few days ago, and I could see from the experience she was sharing a repetition of pattern, something that has happened with her own parents, but because we are not well groomed when it comes to making life choices, we don't put into perspective how our past have tendency to influence not just our choices but our actions, right? So when I was trying to do some clarity session with her, we were able to realize that she has found herself in the same situation her own parents found themselves. And then I was trying to tell her sometimes we may not be able to determine how we get to that point where we look back and we discover we are repeating pattern, but we can decide how to go about it. We can determine the end of that pattern. So if you find yourself in a situation where you realize it's unpleasant, where you can even track it back to what happened to your own parents or happened to you while growing up, you can choose, my own children will not go through what I went through. And that is the essence of this discussion today. I hope to be quick so that we don't spend so much time. So you discover that a child can just be a child around us, but due to what we experience growing up, we overreact. So a child makes mistakes. Our response is heavier than the mistake. It's not because of what the child has done. It's because of what has happened to us that we did not realize has built a trauma in our brain. So we are on a reactive mood. Sometimes you can react to your child or to things around you that when you reflect, you'll be wondering why you had to go that far. These are hidden past So sometimes the trigger is not even what just happened. Eh? It's just something has been built up, hidden, and that rises up to become traumatizing. So sometimes on is just what is speaking louder than the present. Okay? So, and when families don't understand that these things exist, we begin to cause pain unnecessarily to one another in the family. We begin to cause traumas to the innocent generation, the innocent children we are nurturing. So you realize that your family comes under unnecessary pressure. You overwhelm your family because of what has happened to you that you did not hear from. So I've seen marriages break, not because of what is currently happening in that marriage, but because the woman didn't heal from a broken relationship or a broken family pattern. Maybe the marriage of the uh, daddy and mom broke up for a particular reason. That that woman didn't heal. Then, in fact, they might not have even known that there was a pain or trauma caused by the marriage breakup of their own parents. So they come into their own marriage defensive, on the edge, reactive. So if something happens or the partner displays something innocently, they begin to overthink it and start maybe one considering that that partner may act like their own parent. Are we getting it? So you see, sometimes marriages can be going through a difficult time because both couples are overreacting, not based on what is happening, but based on unhealed experiences, the past. So we are going to talk about why parenting exposes what life has not healed, and we'll approach it through both scientific research. Okay, so parenting is one of the strongest mirrors in adult life. So today we are going through a training, and then we are taught how children, I know I've mentioned it before, how children copy, they mirror us. So some things may be happening in the family, you don't know that your child is picking it up, right? So the teacher was describing how he met a child lifting a boy of less than 5 years, lifting a girl and trying to throw the girl down, like, and when he was asked why he was doing that, he said he wants to just do the same thing his dad does to his mom. That's what the brain has copied. So sometimes we do things in the house, we don't realize how they they imprint in our children's memory. They never forget. I can remember a lot of things that happened to me while I was younger. I can remember one of my aunties that dealt with me, not just me. In fact, at some point when we get to the village, all of us will be whispering and talking about how that auntie, how wicked she was. Even like we have grown up, I'm telling you, but that happened while we were younger. So what are we saying? The same thing happens to you. You may not know you are imprinted until you grow up. So children often exposes what pressure, work, church activity and maturity, hidden adult. So for example, as an adult, you know how to mask your pressures, maybe by engaging in activities. While growing up, you try going to church, just try to do a lot of things to deal with whatever challenge you are going through. Without realizing, you are just, there's something my mom calls white sepulcher. A sepulcher is like a grave, painted, but what is inside is rotten. So as adults, we are good with masking our problems, masking our challenges, trying to cover up. Let me use that word. But parenting will test the credibility of what you think you have dealt with. So you may think that you are emotionally healed until one day your child will show disrespect to you. You may think you have built patience until one day your child tests your level of patience or delays you and you are going late. Like, the way you act at that point of pressure is the real state of your healing, right? So why is it? Because parenting constantly will press your emotional buttons, and most of these healings and hidden challenges we are talking about are registered in our emotional brain. And then is in that part of our life that these pressures will come to test. Okay? So we need to take a realistic reflection of who we have really become. What has made us who we are, and what we are still really struggling with. So, for example, a practical example you will always see a mother who grew up being constantly criticized. So, you see, this woman may become unusually intense when her child makes mistake. So, you will see her with low tolerance to mistake. So for her, is a defensive mechanism trying to protect her child from living a life of error that may require people criticizing her. But it's from her side, not the child. However, she's trying to protect her child. So you can see a father who grew up without emotional warmth. So you may see this father finding it difficult to express affection, right? Even when he deeply loves his children, he may not be able to say it. Is this kind of father she say, they know I love them, and I mustn't tell them. He's the one who puts all the effort to make all the money, make sure they don't lack. He pays their school fees, provide all the resources, but he finds it difficult to express that love verbally or in a way that the children can see it. He may see it as a weakness. The simple truth is that it was not expressed to him that same way. So these are the men who suffer at the end of their life, where their children felt they were not connected to them, without considering the sacrifices they make. So if you are in that category, whether a man or a woman, where you find it difficult to express love, kindly work on yourself, because the age we are is the age where children need to feel, sense, be told you love them. Feel that affection, not just buying gifts, not just present. You have to be present and they have to feel it. They have to hear you express it to them. That's the dispensation. And you must intentionally build that connection so that your labor, your sacrifice towards them will not be misinterpreted. And I've told us about um, understanding your child's love love language. Most of us love our children. I don't think we have up to 2% of parents that don't love their children. Even when they become wayward, we know we are heartbroken, right? But if you show your love to that child in your own language, and that child doesn't understand it in their own language, the truth is that at the end of the day, you have not reached to this child. You've not gotten to this child. And it would have been a wasted effort. So why not try to understand your child's love language and reach to that child according to what they are able